What is going on, fellow Wastelanders? Welcome back to the channel. Shock Radio here, and today we're covering all the latest in CROSSOUT news, and it looks like they have a huge change coming down the pipeline. We have 2 weeks of a test server action going on, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 2 weeks, because they are planning some big balance changes. And first and foremost, off the rip, I can tell you, it seems like it's going to be the end of the meat grinder meta, which has been kind of a couple months. I feel like it's only been a couple months of the meat grinder meta, unfortunately, and every meta has its like phase in CROSSOUT. But these balance changes, along with the recent battle pass and speed changes, have the potential to really change the landscape of the meta in CROSSOUT. So let's get right into today's video, guys. So starting off, they're going to be nerfing the little boy, the hawk, the fat man, the mammoth, and the mastodon cannon by reducing the rotation speed. Now, I say this in most of my CROSSOUT videos, we are in the era of the cannon. Cannons on wheels, cannons on hovers, cannons on spiders. It doesn't matter. You put cannons on any build and it's pretty awesome. Especially wheel builds right now, the cannons are rotating so fast, and with the oppressor engine increasing rotation speed and projectile speed, cannons are just awesome on wheel builds right now. So it looks like they're just trying to reduce the rotation speed, potentially to get you guys on hovers and legs again, or just not to be as effective. Maybe they're just trying to balance it, but you know, let's read between the lines. They're going to be pushing towards legs most likely with these cannon changes. Special parts that are being changed. The Emily is getting a damage increase, durability increase, and a mass increase, which I'm all for because I love my Emily revolver. One of my favorite special weapons. They're just really fun to use in the wasteland. So a durability increase is very welcome. A damage increase is welcome. And the mass isn't too bad. So that's a very good buff for the Emilys. So the Tempest is being changed. Tempest and Whirls actually are kind of meta right now. I don't recall if Whirls are in this list, but it looks like we're getting an energy consumption increase, power score increase, and time to overheat increase for the Tempest. Now the devs say they're too high in efficiency, especially at low power score. Changing the power consumption will increase the power score range where the weapon may be used. Changing the time to overheat will partially compensate for the changes, making the weapon less dependent on modules. So basically you'll be able to fire for a little bit longer, and obviously you're not going to be reliant on as many modules. So Falco, finally some rotor changes. What? So the acceleration is being reduced by Falcos, I guess, in the new with the new leg mode and things. Even legs, the robotic walkers are being kind of overshadowed by rotors, so they're aiming at reducing the acceleration efficiency. All right, we're actually getting some changes with the Genesis as well, increasing the number of launches by 50% instead of 25% before. This is nuts, guys. I'm not gonna lie, my troll build is about to get so much better from this update, and you'll see why as we get down here. But increasing the ammo for my barriers and drones, my barrier, let's just say barriers, I don't care about drones, barriers, oh man. So anyway, more ammunition for drones and barriers. I cannot wait to whip out my 9 barrier build again. The barrier 9 barrier build. I love it. Hardcore engine. They're adding a perk. Increase the reverse speed of wheels up to 40% of standard. So it looks like what they're doing is adding perks to all the special tier engines, which is actually really cool. The Razorback is getting a perk, increase the durability of all movement parts. And it looks like they're getting a perk relative to like their epic counterpart, which is pretty cool. So like the hardcore is the hot red engine. So the hot red engine increases the reverse speed. The hardcore will also increase the reverse speed. You know, you follow me. The Dun Horse added a perk. Every 100 meter pass by the car reduces remaining cooldowns for modules and autonomous weapons. So this is like the Cheetah perk, just a lower form of that. So pretty cool. Epic parts, they're doing a buff to the adapter, durability increase, and the last shot bonus from perk is now 60% instead of 50. I don't have too much experience with adapter. I do know if you mix the adapter, am I thinking of the right weapon, the adapter with the Hadron cabin, it's actually even better than a King Mine. But you know, it's more energy, all that good stuff. The Gunyear is also getting a buff. What? Move to the cryogenic weapon category. Damage type change to cryogenic. What are you on about? No way. Weapon now freezes parts on hit by 1%. That is insane. We have cryogenic machine guns. So the Gunyear is from the Hyperborea faction, which it makes sense, man. Hyperborea is all about frost and ice, and Dude, that is actually kind of sick. Like, man, I might have to start playing CROSSOUT again more. Like, I've been taking a break from CROSSOUT, but these are some pretty good changes, my guys. Jolton, reload time reduced from 13 to 12 seconds. You know, they still need to slow vehicles down. That's probably the biggest complaint, is the ice doesn't slow people down anymore. So people just drive through the ice all willy-nilly. It doesn't do anything. So I can't really see this. Maybe it'll help it, but I don't know. Yokai, this is going to be irritating, but durability increased from 482 to 565 points. Blast radius also increased by 33%. Rip hovers, yep, that's wild. So Yokai is a hover killer. So that's gonna be wild. Low durability combined with a large model of the weapon. The increase in blast radius is aimed at simplifying the use of the perk. It is simple. You miss the build, it does damage. It's great. Wonderful. This is a weapon that actually rewards you for not having good accuracy. It's great. Corvo also getting a buff. Will it be enough? Damage increased by 15%. Penetration ability also increased to 75%. The Corvo has always been like just a an art weapon, in my opinion. I own a Corvo strictly because I like what was it called, Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid. So of course I want to own a revolver in CROSSOUT. The Punji, the range of connecting the stakes increased from 30 to 70 meters. That's good. The Punji is kind of crappy, I'm not gonna lie. Like a tiny little fence, like what? That's gonna over double the length of the barrier, which is actually really good. I know Powdered Herb's probably really excited about that. Blockchain, remove the damage bonus in missions with battle walkers and armored aircraft. So that's pretty cool. Blockchains no longer affect the helicopters. Oh yeah, because they were one-shotting the rotors off of builds. That is right, dude. Blockchains were literally just like bing, right off. Rotors coming off, legs coming right off. Man, I probably should have took advantage of that more often before they nerfed it. Clarinet toe. Oh boy. Oh boy. So it looks like we're getting a nerf. Okay, so common, they're going to increase, buff the damage if you use common modules. Clarinet toe is really annoying and pretty strong right now, and one of the most used purple weapons. So here we go. They're nerfing the damage across the board except for common modules. So adding rare, special, epic, legendary, it all reduces your damage relative to how it was before. Raijin, it looks like they're nerfing again. The Raijin getting nerfed again, guys. So damage on hit when fully charged is reduced, penetration ability reduced, durability reduced. I guess they sold enough packs. They don't want to sell any more of those packs. The whirl, here we go. Similar to the Tempest changes, the whirl is also being removed from the current meta. Energy consumption increased from 8 to 9 points. Time to overheating increased by 41%. Power score increased from 1080 to 1215. Now I will say there is a week of uranium battles coming. This update is not coming in time, so we are going to have to put up with another week of uranium battles. It's going to be 10,000 power score for uranium battles this Sunday, and it's going to suck because it's going to be all whirls. Well, we'll see. Maybe there's some changes after the latest balance changes, the speed changes, but the past few uranium battles at this power score has been whirls, so they're changing it, but not soon enough. The Tusk, they're buffing. Added 50% bonus to ram damage. Ram damage bonus from perk reduced from 40 to 20%. Ram damage resistance increased. So the changes simplified the dealing of ram damage, making it less perk dependent, but not increasing its maximum value. The damage resistant change will increase the armored car survivability. Good. A lot of people were complaining they're literally running into people as they're supposed to with the Tusk and just blowing up, and that's not fair. So Bigrims, looks like they're actually going to buff the Bigrims, but also balance it out here. So they're going to increase the tonnage from 2300 to 2500. Power penalty is being reduced. Rear Bigrims in wheel mode now turn at a maximum angle like the front ones. All Bigrims now use one weapon group like robotic legs. So the reason why this is very important, a lot of times players were like putting the front two wheels on wheel mode, and is it that way around? I think the front two wheels on wheel mode and all the other wheels on leg mode, and it was just kind of increasing your acceleration efficiency and your maneuverability. So it looks like they're just trying to get rid of that cheesy meta where you have two front legs that are on different triggers than your back legs. So interesting. And here is where we find the death of the meat grinders. It was a short-lived meta, but thankfully it's gone because I don't own meat grinders on my main account. So yay. Mass increase from 730 to 910 kilogram. Tonnage reduced from 3600 to 3400 kilogram. Power penalty increased from 18% to 22%, and the speed of turning in place reduced by 15%. So overall, just a lot of nerfs to the meat grinder. CR2 petrol, again, another rotor being nerfed. Acceleration reduced, tonnage reduced. The Tengu legs perk recharge time increased from 4 to 7 seconds. So your dash with your Tengu legs, my favorite legs in the wasteland, is being nerfed. Unfortunately, I might have to actually use the dino legs now. Cheetah, the bonus to maximum cabin speed increase, bonus to tonnage increase. So a nice buff for the Cheetah engine as well. And then they're getting into legendary parts. So the Heather is getting an energy consumption reduction and power score reduction. So that's pretty cool for all you artillery users out there. Retro is getting a durability increase and a mass increase. This could be bad. We're already using retros on brick builds. What are you doing? What are you doing, Tarjum? They're already, like, a lot of my clanmates use retros on brick builds in Leviathan clan battles. I feel like this is not... No. Anyway, Fukabari, projectile speed increase, spread reduced. Increased in spread after firing is reduced. So the Fukabari, a little late now. The battle pass is over. If you didn't have one already, rip. But the Fukabari is getting a buff. This is one of the weapons that I was most excited about. With the last battle pass. So Nathong getting another really good change, or a good change, as well as the Gunyear. Move to the cryogenic weapon category. Now freezes parts when hit by 1.5%. So very, very good. Fortunes getting a perk, added a perk as the projectile travels the first 200 meters. Its damage and blast radius gradually increase. Dang. Projectile lifetime increase and rate of fire increased. Wow. Wowzers. Fortunes might be fun. I'm gonna have to look into getting some fortunes now. Oh boy. Compiler, this weapon was one of the weapons I was looking forward to with the battle pass, but it sucks. The recoil was crazy and they know it, so they are reducing the recoil. Minimum spread reduced, maximum spread reduced, and increase the spread after firing reduced by 48%. So ultimately they're buffing the hell out of the compiler's accuracy, because right now, as it stands, there's nothing really good in the current battle pass. Maybe the cabin for meta high tier builds. That's it. And even then, it's kind of broken because the perk is purely based off of the cabin durability, not the build durability. So they're probably going to change that at some point anyway. But overall, it's just not a battle pass for me. It's a heavy, tanky battle pass. It's not for me. Maybe it's a good battle pass. Let me know the thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think about the current CROSSOUT battle pass. Is it like not as good as you thought it would be, or are you loving the founders? I think it could have did a lot better. The shotguns underwhelming. The cannon, yeah, rip. Anyway, Imugi, projectile speed reduced by 10%, reloading time increased from 6 to 7 seconds, impulse reduced by 3 times, and perk radius reduced. So a nice nerf to the Imugi. Everyone hates the Imugi. A lot of people say it's like no skill. You're just kind of shooting projectiles across the map, and if the shots land, they land, and most likely they'll hit something. So looks like they're aiming to increase the skill threshold. Kaiju is getting a bit of a nerf. Yep. Shot charge time increased. Holding time after charging reduced. So changed their aim to making it slightly more difficult to use. Charybdis, what are they doing? The perk now activates when approaching an enemy from the rear quarter of the armored car, not the rear half. Okay. The change will make using the Charybdis perk more demanding on the player's skill. I mean, there's been a couple instances where the Charybdis is just really annoying in meta, but overall, I don't. Meh. Charybdis, meh. Big Griffin buff. Perk now reduces the recharge time of modules and drones by 5%. In addition to hiding from radars once per second while it's active, the boost only affects the cabin owner. Ooh, the perk was too narrowly focused. The additional feature should increase the relevance of the cabin. So pretty big buff on the Griffin. Very nice. The perk active time increased from 7 to 10 seconds on the Hippogriff. Perk recharge time reduced. So another buff to another legendary cabin. Everyone knew this was coming, but the Whaler is getting a nerf after the speed changes. Heavy cabins are less used, but the whaler kind of filled that niche right from the start. It's basically a heavy cabin that's medium, so they're reducing the speed from 80 to 76, and the perk active time reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. Satori cabin maximum perk is now gained after 3.5 seconds instead of 3 seconds, and resets in 1.5 seconds after exiting the drift instead of 2.5 seconds. So rip the Satori cabin. They said it was too efficient, so changing it will make it more dependent on the player's skill. Finwheel perk no longer affects spread stability. Ooh, so there's a nerf that people are waiting for the Finwheel. I don't know if that's the nerf that they're wanting, but that's the nerf we got. So the Finwheel is getting a nerf. Pilgrim, Photon, and Nova cabins, not being used very much in the Wasteland, are all getting mass tonnage increase and the effect of mass on acceleration reduction. So they're all three getting a nice buff to put them kind of in the forefront of players' minds when they're picking out a cabin. All protective fields, vulnerability to blast damage reduced from 100 to 50%. Now this is what I was talking about earlier when I'm saying my troll build is about to be next level. So Nova, Aegis, Barrier, Atom, Mortar Projectile. Protective fields are destroyed too quickly. Well, they're being increased. Vulnerability to blast damage reduced from 100 to 50%. So that's awesome. They used to take, I think, 100% more damage against like retchers and cyclones, you know, the shields. Well, now they're not going to take that extra damage. They're going to take less damage from blast radius, which is going to be insane for my 9 barrier build. Cannot wait to bring out that and troll the Wasteland. Robotic legs added jumping. Jump is activated by holding down the handbrake key. Awesome. So they're adding more buttons without even finishing developing it on console. This is actually annoying. I've mentioned this to 2 of the community managers that I know of. Currently on console, you cannot pivot your robotic legs. On mouse and keyboard, you hit Q or E, or you can hit A and D with the space bar, and that will pivot your robotic legs left and right. All right, it's actually very, very good for maneuverability. You can do this with hovers, you can do this with legs. Well, a console does not have the buttons programmed for robotic legs to be able to use the handbrake and turn feature or the Q and E feature. So they're adding more features to robotic legs before they even finish developing the robotic legs to begin with. And this is just part of the reason why I'm so annoyed with this game. They don't listen to anything from the community, it seems like. I have personally messaged people that work for the company telling them that their game is broken for console and they don't give a shit. So anyway, moving on. Waltz and RL9 Helicon adding additional weld points. Pretty cool. I have the Helicon and Waltz. Pretty cool. I can't use my Helicon because it's brick meta right now and the queue times are too long for high power score, so it doesn't really matter. But there's a buff anyway, and the test server, as I mentioned, is open today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and then they're going to be making some changes and also changing it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have access again next week on the test server. I think my plans is to live stream the test server this Sunday morning. I will live stream the test server for like 2 hours or so, probably when it opens or maybe an hour later. So stop by, join my Discord, stop by the live stream on Twitch, YouTube, put in some comments on what you want me to test on the test server this Sunday on live stream. If you're there on the test server and you're commenting what you want me to test, I will test things out for you. So stop by our live stream this Sunday where I'll be on the test server. Let me know in the comments what you think of these changes, and I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.